Previously on Thoughts and Players.
I had stuff to talk about with Bernie before. Like I was saying, Bernie's not doing this right. He's giving the same speech. Every time he goes somewhere, he's doing the same damn speech. It's not going to work. You got to go to each state and say, here's what's wrong with your state. This is what you guys need to focus on here.
Yeah.
You know, he goes to Iowa and he goes, it's corporate farming that's fucking things up here. Look into it. You know, when he was in New York City, he was like, let me make a differential between me and Trump. He's trying to make these speech interesting. You're going against a master gaslighter, con man. This guy is and I use a weird extreme.
He's brilliant. Trump is brilliant at what he does.
Exactly. And people don't want to give him credit for that. And that's a big mistake.
But
it's a big mistake. He's not in the position he's in because he's stupid. He knows how to manipulate
politics. He's a Tyson in the ring. No one does what he does better, and it confuses the simple mind.
All right. Here.
So I have permission to record you.
Yes, you have permission to record me, but not to use against me in the court of law.
I'm never talking to you unless it's somehow beneficial to a future podcast that we do.
Well, actually, I feel like I can't even talk anymore. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Oh God, the stuff I'm about to say is going to burn so many more new bridges. But there's just look, you can't win this election with what we are presenting from the media side. It's just not there because Trump just tweets out shit 24 hours from the time he wakes up, from the time he goes to bed.
Well, it's true, but that's not the root of the problem. The root of the problem is that the left, and I'm using that casually,
right?
Call it the alt left, if you will. But the first thing you have to understand, I'm not saying you, I'm saying the world you, is that anything on the media is always going to be the alt-left or the alt-right, essentially. The reason that people don't refer to the alt-left or the alt-right in those terms is because the norm is the alt-left and the alt-right because they're the only noisemakers. So that's been normalized. So when they say alt-left or alt-right, they're talking about the racist, KKK, people and people on the left who are like, fuck everybody. I'm not even.
Yeah, it's completely
no.
This
is important.
I want to punch you to the phone.
The reported alt left and alt right is sort of part of the problem because these are the people with the loudest voices representing what people think is the norm left and the norm right. No, these are not the normal people who are going to vote. The normal people in Philadelphia don't even know who Bernie is in 2016. They only know about Hillary. The normal people only know that Trump is cool. And Trump
again, I love that you're using this term "normal." It's a very loose term, but I'll let you use it.
so here's the thing.
It's very politically correct.
So the left is fuck. That's another problem. All right. Again, I never voted to be called African American. I would have said no to that.
Right.
But because the norm said, oh, this is what we want, that's not what we want. And no black person wanted to be called African American. But that's what reported because Reverend Al Sharpton and whoever. So the news is not real. Trump has that.
But you could get beat up for saying that, but go on.
Well, I wouldn't. They would look at me and go, it's a waste of energy. But here's the big takeaway from all this.
Not beat up. I mean, beat up in a debate. Like, how dare you?
No, I'm untouchable. I have a wonderful smile. Look, okay, so here's the big
crazy
takeaway.
Ego protects you.
Here's the big takeaway from all of that rant. So the problem with the left, in the most general sense, is that they are always talking about sort of that social, warrior, PC sort of thing. Oh, Trump said this. This is bad. He's the way he's acting, the way he's talking, he's doing everything wrong. Well, only wrong on paper. The left talks to the paper. The left talks to all of that sort of political business as usual. And so they're always going to lose until the next election, because it's just the classic underdog back and forth yo-yo effect. Trump is smart, not with any of that. Trump is smart because he knows business doesn't elect candidates. He knows voters elect candidates. And every single thing he does and says on Twitter or anywhere else goes straight to the voters, and they go, oh, I like this. The left talks to the educated. The left talks to, we talk to the evangelicals and try to get them to do this. Trump just says, he knows, I know they're saying they're running around being religious, but they're not necessarily acting religious. So the left will actually say, this is not good representation of Christianity. Trump just says, look, fuck these people. They're trying to kill babies. Yada, yada, yada. So they know, he knows how people think, and he knows only people vote. So when Trump goes on Twitter, the left says, oh, he's on Twitter, he's on social media, what a fucking psycho. And Trump goes, oh, the people love me on Twitter. Why would I try to, like Obama or any of those, Hillary, make the newscasters and the media and the businesses and all these things like me? They're not voting for me. I could care less. But when I go to basic bitch over here and say the left is insane, Bernie's crazy, Warren is Pocahontas, they're going to get up like at the end of any Rocky movie and cheer and line up in droves to vote for him, because the voters like what he's saying. He doesn't give a shit that the non-voters don't like him, because he cannot benefit from that. So the left are talking to themselves and each other. It doesn't matter. Trump goes to those rallies and only talks to the voters that are at that rally. Everyone else goes to these rallies and they talk to the DNC, they talk to MSNBC, they talk to all these people who are spinning and yapping. Trump is brilliant.
But I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying that a lot of things you said in there, what we considered, I don't even know what the terms I can use, because I don't really like any of them. But
don't try to think of a term. Just say it.
Well, because I'll sound like a
that's what Trump does. Trump just says it.
Because I've become a product of these people, but neoliberal media, or I don't want to just false. I don't want to say false. Everybody's picking every word that I can use. What I'm trying to say to you is
like progressive. They ruined the word.
What I'm trying to say to you, and you know this because this is now leading towards a personal thing, and it gets all, because you know how personal this is. So yes, I agree with both of you that the media uses the alt-right and the alt-left to go, look, at those people are crazy. Okay, so it does work, because most people go, oh, those two groups are crazy. And that's probably not even the case either. They probably all have, you said, individual views, but they lump them together, right? But in our movement, the alt-left, or whatever you want to call us, the progressive movement, it is just another thing of egos. You know, and I know that all these little groups, they fight within each other, and they say, no, I don't know how to say it, but my dick is bigger than yours. Like, I'm better than you, and I don't have to listen to you, and we're not going to work together. And it becomes this ego-driven thing, and we have the point of this phone call is we have zero media pushback. Now, I say zero because I want it to be the harshest number. I'm sure it's 1%, 2%, 10%, but we really, against Trump propaganda and, I don't know, establishment media propaganda, there is almost zero pushback. There's nobody hammering back. Obviously, Bernie is, but then nobody else is behind him who has any clout, any talent, any vision of how we're going to do this. So,
well,
hold on. I got to call you back.
All right. Okay. Do I have permission to record you?
Yes, you have permission to record me, sir.
Okay.
So listen, work just called me to come in, and I can't go into work to do 8 hours of time and a half, because if I work time and a half, 8 hours, I lose my priority. I'm a late watch person on my watch. So I had to say to the guy, I have to say no, because if I come in right now, you guys are not going to let me work my double day. I say, call me back if you can offer me 16 hours. And if you don't call me back, I suppose it's a no. So that's the shit. And somebody created that rule at my workplace. Somebody very devious. So that's another thing I have to deal with. I went up to the president of my company, and I'm not going to say where I work, And I had to talk with them. And I didn't even put that down because I was so afraid of like pushing back against that rule and what could happen backlash-wise. Right. But anyway, so there's so much going on in my life. Curtis, there's no way, you know all the players, and I don't want to bring up their names. I don't want to make it personal. You know it better than me.
Yeah.
I don't even know really what I'm talking about. I just know that it happened, right? All these factions, all these people who were, I don't know, what do you want to call them, independent media or alternative media or trying to do their own thing, they all hate each other. They all hate each other.
Media. Yeah.
So they're not going to coalesce, and we're not going to team up. We're not going to fight.
Well, of course. I mean, you can see this on the larger scale in the Democratic candidates. And you can see it all the way down to the people, like you're talking about, and even the progressive independent media. The problem is that, to their credit, they're speaking their truth, they're speaking their passion, but because of that, it's true. So it's all scattered. But you go on the right. What are we seeing? Whether it's media right or the people right or anything else, what do you have? You have every single one of them pro-Trump. So there's no way you're ever going to beat that.
And I totally agree.
You have a singularity, cohesive voice, no matter how varied it is. And then on the left, you have scattered voices because they're real voices. Do you know how many intelligent, normal people who aren't doing independent media, who aren't, yelling and screaming and everything else, who are intelligent, have kids, and they're very active in their passions, are, have perfectly lucid and clear reasons for supporting Elizabeth Warren, for supporting Biden, for supporting Pete Buttigieg, for supporting Gabbard. I'm not talking about anyone in progressive independent media or the alt-left or activists. I'm talking about the normal people who are like, I'm definitely going to go vote. And they have common sense, intelligent sounding, maybe not accurate, whatever, but they are passionate in like, Elizabeth Warren was our best choice. So that's the problem.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with any of that, but if I'm going to poke a hole in Bernie Sanders, Bernie Sanders does not understand social media, and that is his downfall. He can't even win. Biden can't win. Biden's going to get crushed because of that. Like, they don't get the social media aspect. It doesn't mean anything to them. And in this day and age, it's actually increasing, right? Every year, the social media aspect, and I don't know what the percentage is, goes up a notch, right? So and he is the master of it right now. You might hate that statement. Trump is the master of social media. You might go, he's an idiot. He is the master of social media right now. He is crushing it. Who is close to Trump?
Of course.
Who? Nobody in the world.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
So
what are you going to hear? What are you going to hear from the left? You're going to hear, oh my gosh, he speaks so carelessly on social media.
No. I'm looking for the, I'm going to say with the worst names right now, right? But with the Will Ferrell, the Adam Sandler, I'm looking for somebody who's funny, a Zach Galifianakis, someone who has the clout to push back in even the smallest way.
Right. So those are very effective. Those viral moments.
Right.
Because he made fun of in that classic style, Obama, Hillary. He knows, and those resonate like an occasional SNL skit. They actually resonate because what they're doing is essentially what Trump does, but they do it under the comic umbrella. Trump does it as an official, government representative. But in both cases, they speak directly to the people. And so
not only that,
we're not using what he does excellently against him in every avenue.
Yes. And I would say that
only
people out there who love entertainment, and again, entertainment is very subjective, right?
I know.
So people are like, Trump's not entertaining. But Trump's not entertaining. Yes, he is. I would say I would say to you that over 50% of the country find him entertaining. Absolutely. Whether they hate him or not, they find him entertaining. So that's an issue. And we have nobody on the other side who's entertaining. So anarchists might vote for him. Independents might vote for him. Republicans,
and black people will vote for him.
Right, because they find him entertaining.
Yeah, and you can extend that into a more racist way because they find him to be cool. They find him to speak his mind. It's gangster. It's gangster,
yes.
right?
No, I get where you're going. I get where you're going. There's going to be people who make that argument, and it's a valid argument. Whether you agree, it's a valid.
Black people don't want someone coming up there and saying, we
can't even do it. We can't even
the powers. Yeah, the powers.
I know where you're going.
The powers that be and the economic stride that we must take and all that stuff. All that doesn't work.
I told you when I did comedy, black comics would say, "Whatever you do, don't come off dishonest. Don't front. Don't." They go, if black people are in the audience, drop your act and just start talking straight.
Exactly.
And they'll love you.
If you're super white, racist, yes. If you're super white, be super white.
Right, but not only that, just be honest. Like, tell them that you're afraid of.
Yeah, but I'm serious. If you're super white, we want to see you to be genuine. We don't want someone to be super white and then try to act like they're not. That's funny.
Right. When I had gangsters in the audience and I knew I was in trouble, I flat out told them who I was. I'm like, I'm a white kid from the suburbs, so I'm not going to front. You're scaring me. You guys are scaring me in the front row. And again,
but you nailed it. You have a deep understanding, of course,
of
comedy
and survival.
And Trump understands that. Black people don't sit there and go, you know what? I'm a super religious. I'm a Baptist. I'm very spiritual. I go to church every Sunday. I don't like people being bad. I don't like people using the word pussy or grabbing them in the pussy. And I don't like the left murdering babies. He knows that none of that matters. If you get up there and you're a preacher and you're like, look, I don't even like these people.
But I also feel like
Bernie is crazy. Warren is Pocahontas.
Look at this. Look at what the left is doing. The left is supposed to be. The left is supposed to be for freedom of speech, and the left is, I don't know what the word is, neutralizing, or what's the other word that they do to dogs? They're neutralizing. They're neutering. What they're doing, they're taking away my ability to be funny and fierce. I don't want to be Beyonce. Just funny and fierce, and use the words that I want to use that express myself as a comic level. You got to be fast. You got to be fast. You got to be harsh. You got to be quick. You don't really have time to navigate the words in your head because speed is what you need. You have to say when someone says something from the audience that heckles you. You got to come back fast. It's got to be harsh, and they're taking that away from us. They're like, no. You need to calm down. You need to think what you're going to say. It's like, it's too late. The moment's passed.
Now, again, the intentions are right. Not from like the DNC, that sort of thing, but from regular people on the left. Their intentions are right because they want to be PC. They want to be kind. Their intentions are right, but their execution is wrong. Especially, it's a lack of an ability to adapt. Okay, when Trump comes
to this candidate.
Exactly. When Trump comes along and he's a black swan candidate, just like Bernie was, people forget that. Okay, and even Hillary was a black swan candidate. People, I've said this before, but people don't fully understand what happened in 2016. It's because you had the black swan, like Trump, like Obama, in 2008 being the first black president, right? And then in 2016, you had the first, woman candidate, ready for president. Okay, that in and of itself is going to fuck everything up. But then you got Trump, who is unlike any other Republican candidate ever. So you have those two going there, and that's chaos. And then you added Bernie, a black swan event, who was unlike anybody on the left. So you had three insane events happening that totally changed the game. Totally. So now you have Pete Buttigieg up there. You have Tulsi Gabbard up there. You have all these people. You have all the standard people on the left who are from another era, who are clueless, and now you have Biden. People are like, whoa, we went crazy in 2016. Now we want to come back. I'm so confused, and Trump is so bad. So Biden, who is so old school that Bernie and Trump and Hillary, in relation to that, totally destroyed that old way of thinking. But people are like every other movie, every presidential election. You just yo-yo back and forth. The Dems are going to win in the next election after Trump wins. Because it's the yo-yo effect, it's the Rocky thing, it's the underdog, it's, okay, we've had enough of this. Trump's done, and now we're looking for something new. Everybody's all energized. This is our chance, right? So it's sort of that inevitability, I think. But
so wait. I'm going to put you in a corner here, buddy. So are you saying to me that Biden is going to be Trump?
No.
Okay.
I'm saying Trump.
That's what it sounded like. So I just want to make sure that you are on the record, because that ain't happening.
No, what I meant though was that Biden is probably going to beat everybody else, because
he's going to beat Bernie but that could be from malfeasance, and that could be from how they're going to do it at the brokerage convention, and all that's going to cause a rift, and it's going to cause people not to go to the polls. But let me just stop you, because one of the things I'm going to yell into this means nothing except to maybe me and you, is like, again, the left never puts money where they need it in the media. Nobody from our side has the balls. I don't care. You need to find somebody who's got a ton of money who's progressive. There should be somebody who has a progressive, or maybe Sirius XM has this, maybe they are trying, and maybe.
No, but I'm not interrupting. I'm just interjecting for 5 seconds. But that's who Bloomberg wanted to be, or thought he was. He was like, okay, what we need is somebody with a lot of money who's progressive. Of course, he's not really. But
why are they not creating the channel? Maybe Sirius XM has a progressive channel, but there's no one putting money into that other voice. Like we got this very, very calculated, scripted 24-hour MSNBC. We have this very calculated, scripted. We have nobody who is somebody saying, You know what we need?
Well, that you know why? Because Howard Stern doesn't want to run for president.
It's not Howard Stern. He's become more and more, not only mainstream, but just conservative Democrat. He's a blue dog, right? I mean, he's not a.
You're right, but at the same time, I mean, can you imagine? Went against. He was out Trump, and he's on the.
You're right, but that's the perfect choice. He's the only one.
I'm telling you, it sounds ridiculous, but it's not.
No, it's not ridiculous to me at all. I know exactly what you're saying.
He would win.
He certainly is the only one. That's a great choice. He's the only one who would have a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
He might not win, but he's definitely the. And everybody would say to you, Curtis, you don't know what you're talking about. And you're like, you know what? I know exactly what I'm talking about. Howard Stern is probably the only person in America who could beat Trump. If he said that, I'd be like, but he'd have to change his whole game. He'd have to go a little bit lefter, I think, and have to be a lot more harsher and be like, because I know Howard Stern.
Sort of, where he dropped out. So, yeah.
But no, that's a great point, and you would be alone in saying that. I don't think anybody else, except for me.
I know I sound crazy, but I know everyone else is wrong.
No, and that's the only person, because he understands social media, he understands the game, he can't be out-Trumped. He's the only guy that is like, Trump went after him, maybe Trump's smart, that he would become enraged, right? And he would be so focused. He would forget about his money, and he would just focus on Trump. He'd be like, you know what? I have all the money in the world. I am just like how Trump focused on Obama, right? I truly believe that Obama skewering him was like the final straw. Like, okay, I got enough money.
Trump was, of course, has a long-standing history with Stern, and Stern would make Trump nervous because of anything maybe they said off the air, anything along those lines. And
also, Trump hates to be embarrassed, and he could just embarrass him all day long, and it would neutralize him.
He would put out,
but it would be dangerous, right? Howard Stern would be dangerous for Howard Stern. He would be putting his life on the line. Okay, he's too smart. Stern's not going to do it. He's too smart. He's never going to do that.
He doesn't want to do it. That's why he dropped out of the mayoral race in New York, because he didn't want to reveal all of his finances and everything else. Now, who does that sound like? Trump doesn't want to reveal his taxes. They're the same person, but dark forces. They're the kryptonite and Superman.
You make the perfect argument, though, because Howard Stern is it, and there's nobody close to a Howard Stern. Nobody has the following. No one has the talent. No one has the understanding. I don't even think, obviously, Stern doesn't have the talent because he doesn't even tweet. He doesn't use Twitter. Like, he doesn't put jokes up on Twitter. Or he should be using Twitter. He's one of those guys that's passed him by. He's become old. He doesn't even use Twitter as a force. So he too is sort of probably not the guy. At the end of the day, probably wouldn't be the guy, or he'd have to adapt and he'd have to hire people to tweet and fire back from Twitter. So maybe he would understand. Someone would have to sit him down and go, look, you got to use Twitter. If you don't use Twitter, you're
disclaimer. We're not actually saying Stern should do it or would do it.
No. We're trying to make you understand what's.
We're trying to put a picture on what we're talking about, but we know that's not a reality, and we know
never happened.
Yeah,
we're just trying to make you understand the only person who maybe would have a shot to push back. And like I said, Biden's not going to be able to push back. They don't have the fierceness. They don't have the phraseology. Like it's just not going to. He's just going to do the same tricks he did against Clinton. And Biden has probably. It's probably close. I guess Clinton had a lot more sort of really sordid skeletons in her closet. I mean, she had that audio about the raped girl. I mean, there was some really bad stuff.
It doesn't matter. Like black people will support Biden. First of all, I got to back you up.
Right. Over Bernie.
People underestimate how many black people are Republicans. They don't call themselves Republicans. Like if
they're Republican Democrats.
Well, they are. They're Republicans. They just, they go to church on Sunday. They're for all these different things. They see money coming back into their account because of Trump's economic policies. They're like, oh, this is all good, and I'm against abortion and all these things. So they walk around in the purple suit on Sunday saying they're Democrats, but they're mentally Republicans, and so they support what he says. That's why you had all those pastors lined up behind Trump in one of my most embarrassing moments of history, and they're like, okay, he's our guy. But they were speaking for a gigantic populace of the black community.
But you would never say this. I mean, I don't know if anybody would be able to say this. I don't think any black person would be stupid enough to go on the air and say what you just said, because there'd be such a backlash, and your life would be in danger. You know what I'm saying? Like you should throw this tape away. You should throw this recording away because
no, that's ridiculous.
But I mean, there should be a comic who comes out and says what you're saying, and there isn't. We don't even have a progressive black comic. I don't think Dave Chappelle is progressive. I don't think Chris Rock is progressive. I don't think we have that voice. I could be wrong.
No, you're right. Chappelle is progressive in the sense that he's moderate and speaking on his beliefs. So
he endorsed Yang. So come on,
yeah,
he already
exactly. The act is progressive. That's what makes Dave Chappelle such a great comic. His manner and his style and his thoughts. That whole thing is, progressive in the same way that Richard Pryor was progressive. But his beliefs are actually modern. He has an excellent ability to take anything and then see both sides and then sort of go like, that's sort of a moderate approach. It's sort of a Hillary approach. Okay, how about we just raise the minimum wage $1 and then we raise it about the next 12 years, okay? That's sort of Chappelle's comedy, because he takes things and goes, okay, here's how we can make this work for everybody, all right? When you take somebody like Bernie, he's like, okay, it's time to stop that old guard and start new. Bernie's plan, and people won't agree with me on this, but Bernie's plan is to push that voice so that it's no longer as seemingly far left as one would think. And he does this every year. The discussions about free colleges and free universities and Medicare for all, everybody knows this is Bernie speak. Okay? In 2020, these are such common, everyday, boring words in media and news and everything else. Bernie sits in his chairs and goes, okay, I'm killing it. I am crushing it. These are communist things 3 years ago. Okay? Right. They can call him socialist and communist, but he has made things so ridiculous sounding to people, so normal. And so he keeps talking about he wants to push that forward, all right? The next 3 years he's going to be talking about MMT if he lives on that.
But what I hate is that I literally have to accept the fact that he's not going to win the primary because they're going to steal it or they're going to just out media him. They're just going to create this. Yeah, and Biden's going to win, and then Biden's going to get crushed by Trump. So like getting how involved I am isn't worth it for me because I know he's most likely. I mean, it's like I don't know what the percentage of him not winning the primary is, but I would say he's got like a 5% chance to win the primary, 10% chance. I mean, it's very low because there's so many. I mean, they don't even talk about what they happened in Texas. Like, Texas was a huge deal, and no one's talking about the fact that they closed all these polls in minority neighborhoods. And, like, these are cold facts, and there's no investigation going on. We're just moving on to the next state. That's not going to be. We're not going to be able to go back that way to figure out why Texas.
Yeah, because it negatively impacted Bernie and it positively impacted Biden. So,
right. So they're not going to.
It's only something to report if the agenda is being played with. If this impacted Biden, it would be front page news.
So he is not going to win any southern states, just like last time with Hillary. Is that what's going to happen? So so Biden will win every southern state for whatever reason, however they have to make it happen. I guess Michigan. Could we say Michigan is if Bernie loses Michigan, it's over? Is that fair?
Well, Biden has the stink of Obama on him, so black people just associate Biden with him. They're not looking into his, 60s era, policies and laws that negatively impacted black people any more than they looked at Bill Clinton, who created a welfare police state. Right? They don't care anything about that because when Clinton gets on stage with his gravelly voice and super charismatic thing, people are like, okay, there's our first black president. They could care less about policies and the sitting in and watching C-SPAN and watching the daily activities of government officials.
So I'm just getting more and more depressed as you speak because as a black man, you're telling me that it's over. Like they're going to vote for Biden. He's going to win the black vote and Bernie's got no shot.
Forget about the states because that's a little bit more critical thinking and analyzing data, okay? It's over when as soon as Obama steps his foot out anywhere, stands next to Biden and says, he's our guy. This is our guy. This is what he's going to get it done. He's going to get it. Then it's over. And if Hillary, in her, little evil agenda, steps out there, they're going to be like, oh look, we're kumbaya. Hillary and Obama, and they're all together.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm seeing it clearly through your eyes. I wasn't seeing it clearly now, and I realized.
That's when it's over, and then it's all over. And then at that point on, no matter what Bernie does or says, he's against Obama.
Right.
His old white man coming up on him. What do you call old? Everything he's
Nobody cares that he's Jewish. Nobody cares that his family was killed by the Nazis. He's an old
little tot. He's just been pushing progressive benefits for black people and all people.
Wow, I never even thought of it. Yeah, you're right. So it's going to be Obama and Clinton, and at any moment, if they think if he's on shaky ground, if they think Biden's on shaky ground, again, if they think that he can't do this on his own, that he can't get over the hump, they're going to come out.
Exactly.
So it's over.
It's over. It's over.
Wow.
Biden sit there and say 5 words, and all Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, who would do anything to destroy Bernie because he stole it from Hillary. Right? He ruined Hillary's chance in their minds. As soon as Bill Clinton gets out there, Hillary Clinton, Obama, Biden, all he has to do is just sit there.
He can't win.
He can't
win.
He can't win. People confuse should with could. And so when people say, oh, he can't win, people will go into 50 pages of ranting, arguing why he should win. That's what they're really arguing, why he should win. But that's not the question. The question is, could he win? Well, he could if everybody came together. Well, they're not. Well, but he could because, he's been defending black people's rights. Okay, yes, but people don't care anything about that. People are arguing policy to what people will do, which is come out of church on voting day in their hat and go, I'm I'm following Obama's dream, and I heard Clinton, and they were so charismatic on stage. And in this 30 minutes of a speech, I really enjoyed it. They're not thinking about the 365 days that preceded it when Bernie had a revisiting of all the policies that all of his opponents did that negatively impacted the black community, or that he fought and got chained and everything else for their rights. They don't care anything about that. While Obama was sitting in a Harvard school somewhere, that's not entirely correct, and Bernie was over here they don't care.
You are so right. All my wind is out of my sails. Like, you are so right, and it's so clear, and I feel so stupid. Like, what? I'm wasting so much time. I could be booted from my union. I get fired. Like, I gotta just it's over. He can't win. And even if he started to win, Obama's gonna jump in, and it's gonna be over. There's no way you beat Obama, Clinton, and Biden. There's no possible way. Sorry.
Obama, they're clean shaven, or maybe with a little beard. Maybe he has a little beard on, and he's walking Obama, and he's coming out on stage. The audience goes wild, and he says some.
Hey, can Obama run as vice president? Is he allowed?
Yeah. Waits for the audience applause to die down, and he's like, "It's good to be back."
That's all you got to say. The place goes crazy.
Election is over.
Wow.
And they're all going to play their part. Obama's going to do the slick thing. Hillary's going to badmouth Bernie thing in veiled ways or directly. And Clinton's going to bring it home. They're all going to play their part. Just like people act like, oh, now you're sounding like a crazy left aggressive. This is not. Just like having Buttigieg and who else? Elizabeth Warren and all of them in a coordinated attack drop out of the race before Super Tuesday, just so that it would benefit Biden. And
they probably came and said the same thing to them, like, hey, don't make me. Obama came out to each one and said, look, don't make me come out and start to work against you. I don't want to do that.
I mean,
Buttigieg, look, I don't want to come out and make your life miserable, but I could do it. If you want me to come out, I'll come out. What I'm asking you to do is drop out. And they're like, oh shit, I don't want to go up against Obama and Clinton. That would destroy me if I continue. So he just says, look, you can stay in the race, but tomorrow I'm endorsing Biden. You want to stay in?
They're all self-serving. They're all self-serving. I mean, Elizabeth Warren rails against the tech industry and all these groups, my battery, and all these other groups and everything else. She thinks
it's fine if your battery goes out. You have taken this podcast from start to finish. You have taken the wind out of my sail. You probably saved my life. And that you're saying, look, man, drop the Bernie stuff. Go do a funny podcast. Go enjoy your life.
You're in a better position now. You understand Bernie, you support Bernie, and you're going to vote for Bernie. You know, given the chance, you will always put your vote out there for Bernie. Ultimately, what else can you do other than by example and by active opportunities try to get other people to vote for him? But that doesn't change the game.
Right.
That doesn't change the people. You're not changing the game, and that's not an attack on anyone doing anything. That is zero an attack. All I'm saying is you're not changing the game. What you're doing is playing the game. But the game, that fucking game, is still there.
Yeah. Dude, you've made me... I was having a serious anxiety and depression issues, and if you hadn't talked to me today, this energy that I had would have continued, and I'm sure it wasn't healthy for me. And it took me to talk to you to realize how over it truly is. I just wasn't seeing the pieces like you saw the pieces. And now I get it, and I totally agree. And you may have saved my mental health, my job, my union. So I needed a reason to calm down, and now it's clear. When Obama and Clinton, whenever they decide, and Obama will go first, right? And then Clinton will go, because Obama will make it safe. and come in, and then Clinton will agree, and it's over.
Doug Clinton.
Not that it's not already over, because it would have been very hard for him to win. But it truly will be over. If they want it to be truly over, if they want to put the nail, again, they might be building some sort of strategy too. Let's see how well he can go, and if he gets in trouble, he'll jump in. But once he wins too, then that's what they're even thinking. Everybody's thinking, we don't understand. We have Obama and we have Clinton. We're going to have them. We're going to have the momentum. We don't need to go out there and run around the country and create all this stuff. It's just going to happen organically because people are just going to go out there and vote because people hate Bernie. So if she came out and just endorsed Biden, that would be like enough right there. Clinton could go out there and destroy it, but she was smart. She would say, "Hey, Obama, can you do it?" They're probably going to let him go for as long as he can, as long as they know. But if he needs another boost, then they're just going to jump in. Obama will jump in. If he needs another boost, Obama will jump in.
Think about it. Bernie is, not from my perspective, but Bernie is the other old white man. So how do you address that? How do you address keep in mind, Elizabeth Warren, too. How do you address this other old white man? You bring out Elizabeth Warren, you bring out Hillary, and then you're done. Suddenly, Biden becomes a woman. Because as soon as Hillary gets out there and is physically famous, she represents a couple of things. Remember when Bernie ruined it for this woman? I am the premier eminent woman. I was going to be the woman president, and Bernie ruined. She doesn't have to say this. She just has to stand there, and then she's like, all those people, and especially if Elizabeth Warren comes out there and says, remember I endorsed Hillary, but now look, I'm this year's Hillary. Look what Bernie did to me.
And maybe one of those endorsements will drop just before the debate. So before the 15th, maybe on the 14th, Hillary will come out and go, "I endorse Joe Biden."
Exactly.
Because then he can say, "Look, I have the endorsement of Hillary Clinton, who you stopped the last time. Who she thinks that you were involved." He doesn't have to say it. It's all understood. So that would.
Elizabeth Warren's a lawyer, so she knows if she endorses Biden or Bernie now, that's not going to benefit her. All she's going to do, because she has to deal with the ramifications of that decision and the negative attacks and everything else. All she has to do is wait. Once Biden becomes the presumptive nominee or wins more popular votes or whatever, once he reaches that threshold, then all she and DNC all Warren's going to do is
I just thought of a bigger thing. No, forget that. It's gonna be Biden Clinton. He's gonna take Hillary as his VP. You just brought me to the final move, the final chess move.
You brought it home.
I just found the final chess move. It will be.
Hillary is problematic, even for all of her supporters. So
I don't think so.
I think strategically. You're right. I'm not even disagreeing. I'm literally thinking out loud right now. I think strategically it may be best, not to throw her into that negative soup pie of Biden and whoever they're trying to, or whatever they're trying to do to beat Trump, but just to use her. Her presence is more beneficial without any negativity associated with it.
Yeah, but I think down the road, Biden is going to need such a bump because of his mental condition is going to be troubling for some people. So they're going to need someone who they really trust. But if he continues to slide, so they'll be like, well, Clinton, so we're okay because Clinton's the VP. So it's going to be Clinton. It's going to be Biden Clinton.
I don't think so. The reason I don't think so is because the president rarely, and I would say zero, will ever put somebody there who challenges his authority. Like, you remember, Bush and Cheney. Cheney was just supposed to be nobody. I don't think Clinton would. I think Cheney was
very much on the same page, though. I think they're very.
Cheney was for many intents and purposes the president while Bush was running around doing stuff. That's a different thing because he was nobody. He was supposed to be behind the scenes and Bush needed sort of guidance. But you don't have an Obama and Hillary VP. You put Hillary as Secretary of State. So you put these people in the cabinet at best and in different roles and Secretary of State and all these different things, but you don't make them VP. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying how they think. Biden doesn't want Hillary as the VP. He wants to be fucking president. He doesn't want to be the president, and it's Hillary, and she's sort of, we're both co-presidents. They don't, no.
I don't know. I disagree because I think he has so many women issues that's going to come up with Trump.
No, you're right.
So,
but he would get a woman, but he wouldn't get Hillary. He wouldn't
get. Got to be a woman. But if it was Clinton, it would be game over. That would be the smartest move. I really do believe, because I do believe she has that clout. She almost beat Trump. You know.
No. He would. I mean, again, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying Clinton would be too forceful a VP for him. He would get somebody like Amy Klobuchar.
That could be true.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, but Clinton is too powerful a person in name.
Yeah, Klobuchar might make more sense. Clinton probably doesn't want to do it, but it's going to be someone of that ilk. It's going to be a woman, moderate.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's not. It would be shocking almost that it would be a man, and a white man. Okay, you're looking at a woman, maybe a minority or maybe both. But I couldn't possibly see. You're looking for a counter to an old white man who's, just another. I mean, hell, what if? Pete Buttigieg, he might do that just because. But you're looking at a woman, really. I mean, you're just going to be pandering to that crowd.
Wow, and imagine how well he's done without the Obama endorsement. He hasn't even gotten the endorsement, and he's doing well. So if he gets into any trouble, then Obama will come in. I'm sure Obama's not coming in because he's like, I don't want to have to deal with Trump on a 24-hour basis. Like, I don't want back in. So he's not going to come back in unless completely necessary. So unless Biden gets in trouble, he's not coming back in. But if Biden,
my battery's at 1%. So
that's a perfect place to end this, because I am completely have been brought down many notches. I can breathe again. I can go on with my life, and I have to think of a new endeavor. I have to think of a new, funny podcast. So I agree with everything you said. You are correct.
We have to do a podcast now and comment on this audio.
Okay, that's fair enough. But just you being a genius and me being like, oh, I'm the Bernie idiot. That's easy.
I would trade your life with mine any day. Really. I would love to get on stage.
Well, that's weird that you say that. You're probably right.
Yeah.
But for completely different reasons that we can never discuss.
Exactly. All right, my friend.
All right, sir. Thank you for straightening me out.
I didn't straighten you out.
You have won the battle, and you are the genius. And that's why I am mad at you for not being a broadcaster all the time.
Now, why does it seem like this week you've been kind of dodging the reparations question? Senator Harris and Senator Warren have both kind of spoken out and said that they agree with some form of reparations.
Well, the question is, I'm not dodging the question. The question is, what do we mean by reparations? I mean, it seems to me a lot of people mean a lot of different things. To my mind, it means that we have to deal with the fact that there is enormous disparity between the black community and the white community, and that issue has got to be addressed. And I've indicated to you some of the ways that I think it should be addressed.
Well, I think they mean some type of economic empowerment to the African descendants of slaves.
But what does that mean, economic empowerment? I just talked about the fact that I would do my best to change the banking system to make sure that we end racism, that we pay attention to distressed communities, that people get the loans they need to make the investments they need.
What about straight cash payouts?
No.
How much you want,
You agree
Charlamagne?
with that? Why don't you agree with that?
Well, first of all, you mean just a check to every African American?
Yes.
Well, then there's a check to every Native American who were nearly wiped out when the settlers first came here. I think the way we go forward is to build America together. There are distressed communities, white communities, there are distressed Latino communities. Right now, what you have is a government owned and controlled by big money interests who worries about Wall Street and the drug companies. We're going to change that. And we're going to pay attention to the needs of working families and low-income families in this country in a way that you have never seen.
But this government has also systemically oppressed us in a way that they haven't oppressed other communities. Through slavery, through segregation, now mass incarceration. And so I think it should be something done specifically for African Americans.
Well, and all of those issues, all right, we are going to deal with mass incarceration. And we're going to invest. I think at the end of the day, if we end the discrimination that exists in financial services, in healthcare, in education, if we guarantee healthcare to all people, if we, and we're working on a particular program, make sure that every person in this country has a job, because there's enough work to be done dealing with climate change, dealing with our crumbling infrastructure, I would suggest to you that not only the African American community, but every community will be a hell of a lot better off than they are today.
Do you think Democrats really believe in reparations for African Americans, or is it just a good talking point for this campaign cycle?
I don't want to speak for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't resonate well with that audience, because they were like, give me a check. I don't want a reparation check. I think by making the whole structure better for everybody, then people are going to be like, oh, we have this. But
because you know what? And you know what? He can't say why he's saying that. He's like, reparations is never going to happen. It's never going to happen. We can do this,
but it's sort of racist too. It's sort of racist because a reparation check for black people favors reparation check for the Asians who were locked up in jail.
Right, you can go down the line from there.
Gay people,
everybody has a fight,
but women. So, but let me finish this point. So he doesn't say that where other people will, and the problem is not what he's saying. Is the problem is like Trump will just say whatever for the people. He gives people what they want to hear, right? And people vote by that. People go, I like this guy has swag, then I'm going to vote for him. They only listen to what people say.